afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, September 18th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. Many of us would like 100% guarantee that everything is going to be okay throughout our lives. We want a golden contract from God that says our entire future will be safe from harm, free from pain, and that we will always manifest our every desire and dream. We want to know for sure that this life is always working out for us in our favor, and we are guaranteed a perfect, flawless future. The only problem with this is that we also want a life that is brimming with excitement and overflowing with new fascinating adventures every day. We want a future that is free from boredom, filled with a spiritual richness, that we are forever bathing in the healing qualities of our very souls. Now, the real question is, would all this be possible if there was no such thing as fear? If you've done your inner research and looked deeply into your personal relationship with fear, it might seem to be one of those slippery issues that you are either trying to cope with, ignore, transcend, or avoid at all costs. Many of us were told in our childhood that if we want to be happy, we need to conquer our fears. Yet nobody actually told us how to do it, probably because they hadn't accomplished this amazing feat themselves. Perhaps because most everyone has forgotten the truth, that we are divine, supreme, spiritual, eternal beings who will never, ever die. And we have to understand not the body we're talking about. It's who and what we truly are. If you're still waiting for the magical formula that will free you from fear, we may have that formula that you've been waiting for lifetimes. And it is a choice. What grips this planet? What grips the civilization? What is the number one deterrent for us to move forward? It always has been. Fear. Okay? Which means phobias, doubts, immature childish insecurities. So you look at it from the standpoint of how can I have a different kind of relationship with fear? And a relationship that would make you start living the most amazing, exciting life. Our minds are about to experience a miracle. For we are going to learn how to replace all the fearful chemicals in our brains so that we can become authentically fearless in every area of our lives. That which can be taken away from you is not worth keeping. And that which cannot be taken away from you, right? That which can be taken away from you is not worth keeping, and that which cannot be taken away from you, why should one be afraid of its being taken away? It cannot be taken away. There is no possibility you cannot lose your real treasure of faith. The first action towards fearlessness begins with taking a baby step into trusting the energy of fear. And this trusting energy comes from a spiritually advanced understanding that we live in a divine, benevolent, conscious universe that never makes a mistake and has no room for coincidences. This is all intelligent life giving, this universe, all intelligent life giving, is always on our side, and most of us don't know that. And it knows exactly what ingredients are needed for our entertainment enlightenment. By accepting this paradigm into every cell in our bodies, we can start to understand how fear is our greatest teacher and best friend. By knowing the loving universe is always working in favor, in our favor, always, we can relax more, take the risk to snuggle up to our fear, and get a closer look underneath it just to see what it truly is and why it is actually there. In becoming truly fearless, we will need to develop the daily practice of deep, authentic curiosity with ourselves. We need to explore, choose or not choose, why we are afraid of whatever we are afraid of. What is it? What is this special avoidance that is hooked deep into our gut and heart really all about? It is only through a childlike curiosity and true heartfelt inquiry that we can turn our worries into wonders and catch a glimpse of what it actually is that we are running from. Looking inside, behind or underneath our fear for the first time, for many of us may seem ominous or threatening, life-threatening, or feel as if we're about to enter a secret cellar door or some dark and gloomy passage. And actually, this is the right place to start. Somewhere that feels very familiarly frightening, and instantly makes us want to run and hide. And then, be aware, the mind is a genius at avoiding what it needs to confront. We wave all sorts of strategies and tricks at getting distracted from peering into places which makes us uncomfortable. Be always be infinitely patient and insanely persistent whenever you approach your fear. Perhaps you're a bit analytical and wondering, how does one actually look underneath a fearful feeling, thought, or scary image that is stuck in the mind? You're really going to need an extra dose of childlike imagination for this journey. Roll back the clock a few years and recall what life was like when you were a child. Do you remember how you played and played and played all day long? Your creativity and imagination never ended all day long. Perhaps you were into playing fantasy games like saving the innocent princess from the kingdom's fire-breathing dragon. You had the power to imagine anything and everything, and you still have that power today. You might have even imagined that you became a grown-up adult person who lost touch with their childish power of imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited, while imagination encircles the world and the universes. Albert Einstein. Maybe when you were young, and it's interesting because there's a lot of people, the adults, right, and the children have imaginary friends. You call them imaginary friends. And imaginary friend was everywhere. Imaginary friend you would talk with at night, you'd talk with during the day, and they'd play with. Yet nobody else could hear or see them. And there were things that we did, like, I wonder what a banana would say if it could speak. And whatever fantasies or creative games that we played back then, we are still playing them on some level today, in this very now. They are just more adult-like, serious games that we are playing on the inside. Our minds are still making up all sorts of stories about everything and everyone, including ourselves. And our imaginations, right in this very moment, are creating everything in our lives. It is responsible for creating every fear that we have, since it has created all of our fears. It also has the power to stop creating them and invent something totally brand new. Our imaginations are always on. They don't have an off button, just on. Always forming new movies inside. And we always will have, ever, beyond, and forever, the amazing power of imagination working every day inside of us. The real question is, are we willing to step beyond any normal, ordinary versions of reality we've created and discover a place inside of us where anything is possible? If we didn't have an imagination, where do you think we would all be? Our imaginations are extremely powerful. I don't think there is a measurement of power that you could put with the imagination. Just notice what happens inside your mouth, right? When you imagine biting into a super spicy jalapeno taco covered in hot sauce, right? Salivary glands start firing up as the body reads and reacts to whatever the mind sees inside. When we get hooked in imagining something we don't want to see, we don't care to see, cannot accept, cannot understand or relax with, then our bodies continue to react in flight or fight mode each time. Flight or fight mode each time. After a few repetitions, fearful chemicals instantly form inside our brains whenever we have that same thought pattern again. So I invite you to realize right now that your mind is responsible for creating all of your fears. Every terrifying, heart-beating, panic-driven, life-freezing sensation we've ever had came completely from our imaginations. The trust is our mind is making a movie all the time. It seems very real. Yet, like something going on like right now on this planet. Right? It seems very real, doesn't it? Yet it is still just a movie inside the screen of your mind. And it's almost like, repetitively saying to ourselves, that which is real is what never changes. That's not complicated. That which is real is what never changes. So what does that mean? You, all of us, the gods that we are in these bodies, never changes. The body does, say. That's the adventure, the challenge for us. The body always changes. The body changes every second, every millisecond. And everything around the body changes. The constant stream of pure white light awareness in the back of the cinema show. This light is what's projecting all the images we're seeing on the screen. Now, some of us, it's a choice. You can choose if you want to become authentically fearless. You must choose to take full responsibility for your inner movie show and get in touch with what your deepest, darkest, fearful movie truly is. This is not just about getting over the Nightmare on Elm Street. Remember that movie, horror movie? Yet dealing with the real fears which are blocking us from creating the life we want to live. That's what it boils down to. This is a fearless commitment to ourselves, is that we will stop avoiding fear for the next 21 days of our lives and instead explore it with a childlike curiosity. Perhaps you are afraid of intimacy. And there's so many things. Giving public speeches, great heights, enclosed spaces, insects, dogs, huge crowds, right? Fear of living, fear of death, fear of love, fear of hate, fear of wealth, fear of poverty. Take a few minutes right now. You can write it out in your mind or later write it out on an extensive list of everything that makes you cringe and want to run, scream, or hide, including everything you can think of until you are empty. This is kind of a purging. It's a real good exercise. Take as much time as you need in making your fear list. It can be one of the most liberating things you will ever do in this lifetime. And as Ambrose Redmoon quoted, courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. We've all heard the stories through history, through our little history, where, a soldier or somebody saved a life or several lives. And when you talk with them, you ask them, did you have any fear? And some of them will be honest and say, I was frozen with fear. But then something came over me. I realized that those people needed my help, and the fear vanished, and courage stepped in. And that's why I saved their lives. And you don't have to be anything but you for that to happen. After you've completed your fear list, take your top fear. Some of us know our top fear. Okay? And imagine the solution to releasing with this one fear that is inside that old dark, gloomy, hidden, underground place. So, you use your imagination. And you come to this place, and it smells dank, musty. And you walk down these stairs, and you look at the door, and the door looks like it's hundreds of years old. And you see the doorknob, and you open it. And as you open the door, it's, how old door creaks, and you look and you see this, it seems like an endless, long, dark tunnel. And you have no clue how long this dark tunnel is. Because you look and it's just darkness. You can only see a certain portion of the tunnel, and then the rest is just pitch dark. Or when you'll reach the end. So your inner child is curious, though. And you step inside, you start walking down this long passageway that happens to contain the most amazing secret treasure waiting at the end just for you. Now, you feel courageous, though, and willing to trust in the experience of exploring your fear. Now, no matter how frozen you may feel inside, because I think we've all been there, always remember that approaching your fear is a very magical and empowering thing to do. Every fear is created from your imagination. That's it, period. Okay? And you are always in charge of what happens, so just relax and enjoy the scary ride. You may want to rely on your inner light to guide you through the darkness and trust in the fear exploration process. This is why a deep curiosity is needed with us to constantly shift us into excitement mode. The most amazing treasures in this life are hiding in the last place that any of us would think to look. Now, as we reach the very end of our dark passageway, we see someone that is sitting there meditating in front of a white candle. Now, I've done this several times through my life. And an odd sensation of trust comes over your body. It's like you feel that this person, being, is a very old familiar friend you once knew. And you look into their eyes and see how extremely happy they are to meet you again. And you know in your heart that this old friend is the wildest, craziest, fearless person you have ever known. And this person is your new fearless friend. And they are here to guide you into fearlessness. Your fearless friend has never, ever, ever, ever felt any fear about the thing or situation that you are afraid of. They are actually deeply in love with whatever it is you are afraid of. And they are actually looking forward to doing that thing which you fear. Your fearless friend seems to have a spiritual experience doing the one thing you fear. Now notice the tremendous joy, awe, and pleasure they have on their face just thinking about doing what you fear. Now you both are now back in your own cozy home, and you're getting to know each other more personally. Sitting down with your friend on the couch, listening to their creative story about why they love doing the thing you fear. You're fast becoming the best of friends. Now, this person loves hanging out with you and helping you to overcome your fear. Listen to all the fun, wild, and crazy stories they have. Notice how scary, exciting, and liberating it is for you to hang out with your new, fearless friend. Explore how they think, how they feel about this life, and what their average day is like. Feel how they are naturally relaxed and at peace with whatever it is that you fear. We are what we pretend to be. So we must be very careful about what we pretend to be. Kurt Vonnegut. Spend lots of deep quality time interviewing your new friend. Quality time. Deep quality time. Lots of it. Interviewing your new friend. Practice stepping into their body. Feeling what it's like to be totally fearless. How do they feel getting out of bed each morning? What is their attitude about life and death? What does a fearless heart feel like? Capture as many juicy details as you can until you have a strong sense of what it's like to feel the fearlessness that is inside their body. Experience how their body responds with joy, pleasure, or deep awe whenever they are doing the thing you are afraid of doing. Now, the final step to this amazing exercise is where the real fearless work begins. In your real daily life, a few minutes after you wake up every morning, and just before you fall asleep every night, spend some time with your fearless friend. Do this for at least 21 days. It may be just a few minutes each morning and evening. Yet, be consistent with meeting your fearless friend right before you fall asleep and right after you wake up. Give them a hug. Tell them that you love them. And feel what it's like to be together every day and every night. You can even plan to meet at some common place in your dreams at night and have an imaginary cup of tea together. You can hang out all night long if you want and do tons of fun, fearful things together. Be adventurous. And by all means, be creative. Get to know them intimately and engage in some deep, interesting conversations with them about life. Look deep into the eyes of your fearless friend every time you meet. Feel what it's like to live in their heart and soul. Explore the actual realness of this newfound relationship until it feels as real as how your mother and father are for you. Every morning and evening, keep practicing and practicing and practicing. The ego mind will try to keep you from doing this. Okay? Just do it. Even if it just feels stupid or silly, keep doing it. Experience what their fearless mind feels like. You may even try breathing their fearless energy into your heart and seeing how many and how may change how your body feels. If and when you make the time to create a real relationship with your fearless friend every day for 21 days, something miraculous will occur. Naturally, organically. You will inherit all their fearless qualities and become free from any fear you may have had. So what do? You enjoy the journey. How many of us, and this isn't a negative thing, we do it. The moment we start seeing life as non-serious, a playfulness, all the burden on our hearts disappears. All the fear of death, of life, of love, everything disappears. One starts living with a very light weight or almost no weight, so weightless one can fly in the open sky, ocean. Now, it's a challenging thing for us. Is how many of us can actually treat everyone we meet like God in drag around us. Treat everyone we meet like God in drag. This is a toughie for this civilization, for all of us. When we can see the positive aspect of every single little thing in our lives, something very magical happens. Life becomes very easy. Manifestations simply and naturally flow our way. Huge desires seem to effortlessly manifest for us, and the people we meet tend to smile around us, laugh louder, say the most positive things about us behind our back. We will find that most people just love hanging out with us when we're in a positive space. Others emotionally relax in our presence. Everyone seems to enjoy life more. And this vibe makes us feel even better about ourselves just from thinking positively for a few minutes. We can begin to feel the divine presence of our very soul. And this positive thought calms us down tremendously from inside. And then your ego mind comes in and says, you can't think positively about everything. You're crazy. That's stupid. Right? We simply switch train tracks every time we're aware we're thinking negatively. And this is what's interesting. Thinking positively about everything is a lot less complicated than you think. It's primal. It's a natural state of being. It's straightforward and yields instant rewards. You ever been on a train? You can see where the train tracks switch and it goes off to the right or the left, right? Or straight. You simply switch train tracks. Every time you're aware, you're thinking negatively. Listen to every word coming out of your mouth. Are they generally positive or genuinely negative? Wherever you catch yourself being negative, instead of falling into this tight trap, open your imagination to the opposite and remain curious about what the positive position might be. You'll soon find every positive thought effortlessly explodes out of the negative one. So we get negative thoughts, we all do. We get negative and positive. But when the negatives come in, right, you can look at them with a super curiosity. And it will explode, the positive will explode out of the negative. Everything has a positive and a negative. Okay? What would you do if you had a battery that just had a positive? Wouldn't work, would it? So everything has a positive and a negative. Discover, this is a natural phenomenon that we will discover that we're home free with, is that we know we are always free to choose any thoughts we want to think, anywhere and at any time. Your actual self is not a separate and lonely part of this world, but the real you is the world itself. Everything that there is expressing itself at this particular orgasm, here and now, we are all teats on the same sow, rays from the same sun, Ellen Watts. It's a choice. Being a truly honest, positive, happy person is the foundation of our soul's survival. If we only spit out negativity, our bodies would become so toxic that we would attract some dis-ease or terminal illness. It's just a matter of time. When our mouths are filled with complaints, nasty, mean words, harsh judgments of others, then we should understand to receive the same back in return. It's absolute. No healthy human being cares to spend their time with a negative person, unless, of course, they are a saint and still trying to help you see the light of happiness again. Once we learn how to align our minds with a stream of positive thinking and remain there for the next 1,000 thoughts that we have, we start seeing that this life is a deeply magical experience, and divinity is the source of who we are. This life, any life that we've experienced, always contains both dualistic polarities in nature. The deep and dark energies exist because of the light, bright, and positive ones. The deep and dark energies exist because of the light, bright, and positive ones. This vast, infinite universe is the perfect creative expression of every radically opposing force there is. Ancient Tao philosophy uses the yin-yang symbol, and you guys have seen it, you've got the dark symbol and you've got the black and the white symbols. And this is used to represent the foundational balance that exists in this universe. It is behind all matter, all people, all situations and forms. The dark always contains the light, and the light always contains the dark. They exist not as contradictory energies, yet as complementary systems, since one cannot exist separately without the other. Once we learn how to see this yin-yang truth, always finding the good within the bad, the right within the wrong, the heaven within the hell, we discover that the negative, worried ego mind simply drops and falls away as if embarrassed. We then manifest a continual flow of success wherever we go. Yet, of course, to do this outrageous feat, we must choose to practice seeing this sacred and perpetually perfect balance within this life at all times. At all times, at all times. By merging and melting the light and dark energy within ourselves, we will discover the fabric and matrix of every atom in our universe. We will discover the fabric and matrix of every atom in our universe. We will always know that somewhere inside the negative thought, we can always find a seed of something positive. We just have to get out our thought microscope and look more closely at the mental situation we are attached to and believe our mind can comprehend the entire reality. Everything changes to this positive frequency when we approach each moment with an open, creative mind and a soft, welcoming heart. Some of the greatest advice that I have ever received for being unstoppably positive about life was incessantly repeating the thought, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. This one little concept has allowed my mind to continuously open each time it became momentarily closed. Believe it or not, it is possible to be positive about everything that happens to you in this life. There's always something to be learned from each situation, person, and circumstance, no matter how challenging it may be. Being consistently positive is simply a choice that we make in each moment. It's a choice. It's a creative choice where we decide that we are 100% devoted to finding some possible way to enjoy this experience. Discovering positivity in everything stems from believing in the impossible. Finding positivity in everything stems from believing in the impossible. We start realizing that we are living in an infinite universe that has no boundary to it. Thus, there is no boundary to our minds or imaginations. How would you view your life differently this week, in this very now, if you knew 100% without a doubt that anything and everything was possible? Think about something that would impact you in an intimate way. Huh? Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful. Albert Schweitzer. So here's something that you can do that would help you find the perfect power of positivity that's positive about everything. Right now, focus all of your attention on the area inside of your heart. What emotions and sensations do you notice are going on in there? Inside the heart. Focus on inside of your heart. Allow the energy around and inside your heart to soften and relax until you feel the negative thoughts caught in your mind disappear. Notice how you naturally become more relaxed, peaceful, and quiet with practice. Breathe slowly and deeply, focusing only on your heart and relaxing all negative and positive thoughts into it. Do this for a few minutes right now and see what happens. Within a few minutes, you will trick your mind into enjoying life merely through the process of relaxing and letting go. Just explore the experience of relaxing your heart. You'll soon notice, as your heart relaxes, it feels like there is more space for you to think positive thoughts about every single thing in your life. So I invite you to keep relaxing and opening this heart space. A positive state of mind is the soil where you can plant and harvest the seeds of your desires. A positive state of mind is the soil where you can plant and harvest the seeds of your desires. Positive thinking is necessary for all of us, for happiness to blossom in us. It creates an energized state of mind that we all wish to live in 24 hours a day if it is authentic and truly real. You may wonder, is it possible or desirable to be positive about life all the time? It is possible if you can constantly let go and surrender to your spiritual path. Sometimes we need more growth, change, or diversity to add to our life experiences. Thus, we may think we need to temporarily get wrapped around a lower vibration of negative thinking. Usually, this is followed by a strong urge to try and think only pure positive thoughts all the time. It's good to know that everything in this life, everything is temporary. Our minds are like a parachute. When they open up, they will save our lives. when an open mind, with an open mind, we don't have to try so hard to only think positive thoughts. We can allow for any life experience to show up and simply open our minds to seeing the positive come out of it. It is a constant moment-to-moment choice to have an open, positive mind. If and when we can just choose to have an open mind, we will be able to manifest anything and everything we want in this life. When you begin to realize that suffering is grace, you can't believe it. You think you're cheating. See, it doesn't mean not having any preferences. It means not being attached to your preferences, Ram Dass. If your mind is impatient and continues to stay closed and will not open, embrace it with curiosity. The more doubt, disbelief, and resistance you have, the greater the transformation will be. If and when you can maintain an open mind and a relaxed heart for the next 30 days of your life, an orgasmic experience of constant bliss will be awaiting you. Now, that is something to look forward to. And when you practice opening your mind and relaxing into your heart for even a few odd hours a day, eventually positive thinking will come flooding into you. And you will explore what it's like to embrace each experience you have with a childlike state of wonder and curiosity. You will see how much fun life truly is. You can play, learn, experiment, and enjoy this divine, creative exploration our souls decided to go for. We will see that each positive or negative thought is a gift or a tool that's designed to help enlighten us on our journey. The negative dark energy emphasizes positive lightness and makes it sparkle. When you relax about the negative, you'll soon find that the situations you're currently in right now are all divine and sacred. Then, each circumstance of your life becomes a guru for you. When you're ready to live a life that is filled with joy, bliss, and ease, you'll start appreciating the little things in this life. You'll find happiness in a green blade of grass or even a simple walk in the park. You'll start to slow down more and bring yourself into a natural state of meditation every day. You'll want to practice sitting quietly with yourself all alone, playing with being even more relaxed, still, silent, and truly resting in your heart. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. So how much fun are you having? This life is a playground full of opportunities to explore. What do you want to have fun doing next? Playing on the monkey bars, the swings, the slides? The more fun you have, the more amazing things you will manifest. So go ahead and swing on the swings of life. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, following morning. And I will return here Monday, September 19th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation